to the channel. We will continue over this higher pension option information. Recently, the EPFO has activated the option for employer to approve the joint options. However, this is not very easy because the EPFO is asking you to provide the higher wages details from the date of joining after 1995 and until the date of exit. If there is an existing employee, as on date, you are required to provide the higher wages details along with the contribution for EPS at 8.33% on actual wages, and what is already paid and what is the difference. And moreover, they are also asking you to provide interest calculation or interest for the difference wages, and along with interest how much you are required to pay for the EPS contribution in order to consider for the higher pension option. This is going to be very laborious for employers if the data is not available with you or with the employee, and also for the previous employees, if the data is not available, it's very difficult. Even if the data is available, it's very difficult for the employer to calculate. And the instead of the help file, if the EPFO has provided any kind of an Excel utility, that could have been more appropriate to calculate, because you will not know how to calculate the interest and how to arrive all these things. So however, in this video we are going to make an effort to look into this help file and also try to understand how to calculate this file and how to prepare this file. All these things we are going to see. First of all, let's see how the employer portal looks into it, how the options are available. Now this is the employer portal, how it looks. If you go to member section, at the end of it you have this approve POHW request. Now the moment you click, they have given certain information as a direction. One is, of course, there is an help file is provided, how to arrive at this calculation, how to approve all these things, and also the file has to be in text file and it has to be below the size of 2 MB, and they've also given you a sample text file. How does it look? So we will get into these files and also we will see how this looks in the going ahead in this video. Now if you look at the pending employees, of course, if you have already approved, you can look at approved list. If you have rejected some people, you can also see here. But however, let's look into how the pending and how to approve it. So these are the details which is actually provided by the employee while applying for it. So majorly in the process you have two options. One is the approve and the reject. Of course, if you want to reject, there are reasons which needs to be provided, and if you are going to approve, then the file higher wages is very mandatory. Now if you have this file, you can easily upload and also approve the request using either DSE or using a e-sign. Oh, this is very simple process, but the process which is required is how to calculate these higher wages, and also you have to convert into text file. It's not, the Excel is not straight away is taken. You have to make an text file for each employee and then upload. So this is quite a laborious process, and also details are required, and you should be very careful. Now let's look into how their help file is going to help for you. Now this is what is their help file. Of course, basically they have provided you certain details on how to approve it, all those things, and what reasons you can reject. All these things are there. Now the text format 2 MB, and these monthly wages from the date of joining to the exit, or if the existing employee has earned today, that details are very mandatory, and only one line each line by line you have to provide. So that's what they are telling you here. And of course, if any employee joined after 2010, the details are available in the passbook because everything is online. Now there are actually 8 columns which we are going to see also in that, and they're also asking you to provide 1.16% contributions after 1/9/2014. If your wages is more than 15,000, as far as the 2014 amendment is concerned, this possibility, this higher this 1.16% contributions which was provided by the government earlier, now from 2014 onwards, this was costed, or this liability was put on the employee. But however, the Supreme Court has told that you cannot take these contributions from the employee. But the intention of the EPFO is asking this information. There looks to be something is coming up on this also. Therefore, we will try to understand this also. And period before September 2014, this 1.16% contribution is not required, because the amendment is only came after 2014. Now this is where the 8 columns which are required to be provided, or which are required to be created, and this is member ID, the wage months line by line, and also wages on which PF contribution was paid, and pension contribution from employer at 8.33% due on such wages. That means the actual wages, how much it works out, and also the pension contribution from employee at 1.16% due on such wages with effect from 1/9/2014. So of course they have given for pensioners the value should be 0. Even if you provide, that will be ignored. But the employee who is existing today, I think they are going to do something about it, or they are going to take these contributions from the employee. So therefore, or they are going to bring out certain amendments so that this additional contribution can also be charged on the employee. Now, pension contribution paid by the employer earlier. Now, you must have already paid to the restricted wages of 15,000 or 6,500. So that is what is required to be provided in column 6. And pension contribution paid along with the interest. This is looks to be difference contributions. You already have paid the 1,250 or 541. Now on the actual wages, if there is any difference is going to be arrived, so that needs to be provided in column 7. And you also have to provide proportionate interest. See, this is where the employer is going to get into difficulty, because the modalities to calculate this interest is not provided. And of course, the last 8 column is not, column 8 is not very important. This is only for exempt establishments, and the exempted establishments are required to provide the rate of interest for each year in this format. However, this is optional. This is not very mandatory. So this is how your help file looks. Now I try to arrive this into an Excel sheet. Let's see how the Excel sheet looks. So I try to tabulate this information into Excel so that this can be converted into text file, and then it can be uploaded. Now the column number 1, this is the member ID which they are asking you to provide. Now this is not the UN, this is the employer provided ID or the PF number. So this is column 1. The column 2nd is wage month, all the months from the date of joining to the date of leaving in MMYYYY format. So all the months and years it has to be provided, and also wages on which PF contribution was paid. See, here the actual PF wages has to be provided. And now the next column is pension contribution from employer at 8.33% due on such wages as in column 3. So this is column 3. If you calculate 8.33% on these wages, how much it will come? So you have to provide this. Now the next one is pension contribution from employee at 1.16% due on such wages with effect from 1/9/2014. The calculation is basically from 1/9/2014 onwards. The wage ceiling was put on 15,000 rupees, and because of the amendment in 2014, the government contribution at the rate of 1.16% beyond the wages for 15,000 was actually the responsibility was put on the employee. Now the EPFO is asking you to calculate this 1.16% on wages which exceeds 15,000. It is also they're asking you to give you at column number 5. Now this is one information, and the second information, for the period before 1/9/2014, you can show it 0, and even for the pensioners they are making it clear that you can show it 0, and even if you provide something, then they will take it or they will ignore this information. Now the next column is pension contribution paid by the employer earlier. Now this example I have taken from March 2017. So therefore after this period you must have paid 1250 rupees. So therefore this 1250 rupees is shown, but for the previous period it will be basically based on the ceiling, either 541 or even less than that. Now the pension contribution to be paid along with the interest, this is where there looks to be clarity is required, because the interest modalities are not provided, the interest at what rate and also how to calculate, all those things are not provided. So however, this is basically pension contribution, the difference contribution, and on the difference what is the interest calculated by the EPFO was supposed to get added. Now in this case I have tried to arrive at the interest based on pro rata, looking at your EPFO passbook, and also the difference contribution is what is already paid and what is required to be paid. So this is what 8.33% is required to be paid, and what is paid plus the interest has to be factored here. Now how interest you can factor it here is, if you look at your passbook, normally they would have given you the employer share interest also. Now that if you divide by that interest, if you actually divide by the total amount for that year, then it will give you an interest, some kind of an interest for the difference amounts. Also the difference amount you can calculate here, and then for that you can also get certain interest, and that if you divide a pro rata basis, then you get for each period certain interest calculated also. This is quite this is only a suggested version. This needs to be actually calculated, or this question is asked to the EPFO whether the interest we are supposed to calculate and provide, because it's not very easy. But however, I try to do something based on the available interest, and on a pro rata basis I try to calculate it and add it here. If there is no clarification is coming forward from the EPFO, you can also do the same. So here this is basically the difference contribution, what is paid and what is required to be paid, plus the interest for such a difference amount has to be factored here. And now the next column is yearly PF interest rate for PF exempt establishments. So this is basically for exempt establishments, and unexempted establishments are not required to provide this information. So even exempted establishment, this is optional, so this is not mandatory. So all the 7 columns are mandatory except the last column. So therefore this is how you can make your data for each employee, and then this can be converted into text file, and then you can upload into the EPFO website where this option is provided. However friends, before you upload this file, make this Excel file properly and then convert this file to text file. Now let's look at how the text file looks. So this is how your text file looks. Basically this is how this is every item is provided, and it is separated by hash and a symbol and then hash. So each column has to be separated like this, and you can make your file and provide. So this is how you can do. But however friends, this is not very easy, because this is already giving you a lot of work, and there are still the clarifications are required. And before you create this file, please take certain clarification, especially on the interest calculations and other things, and then you can make your file and upload it. Thank you very much friends for watching this video, and see you soon in the next video with new information.